Mr. Singh, Vikram Singh, do give us an understanding on how do you think Seema must have entered Indian border. She's coming through Nepal, which is the most suspected route, and this is a route that we believe a lot of criminals actually try to infiltrate into Indian borders. But yet, so far, there hasn't been stringent checks or blocks to restrict something like this. Let's just hope this is just a case of a lover and not anything more.
Sure. Nabila, good evening. You have lucidly explained the various dimensions of Seema's entry into India via Nepal. And you have also explained that the felicity with which she procured the Aadhaar card and a 5th class from her own confession goes to show that she is fluent in Sindhi, Urdu, English and Hindi, and also not only mapped, you used a very appropriate word, mapped her route, her travel from Sindh to Dubai and Dubai to Nepal to India, and also how could she borrow the hotspot connect from the co-passengers and manage to speak to her friends in India and elsewhere. These are questions that any skillful investigator would ask, and the explanation given by Seema is most unconvincing, to say the least. I would say that she should be subjected to narco analysis and polygraph lie detector test, because I am not convinced or impressed by her explanation, because this is too much of a coincidence, one after the other. Landing up at Rampura, very close to Zevar Airport, and also the Hindon Air Base is unconvincing, and I feel that there's a deeper dimension, Navina, as you mentioned, that yes, it has to be proved whether she is tutored and somebody else has the remote control.
Yeah. So this is a suspicion that she could be a stooge or a spy. Rajiv Dogra, a quick word from you. A case of this, if looked at as genuine, or if it's ultimately found to be genuine. Now the ATS is probing into her links in Pakistan, but if this is nothing but a case of a love story, how does one really deal with something like this? Coming from a country that has been constantly backing terror activities in India, targeting India, what ideally should be done or can be done in a case like this? This is the second episode of a lady coming in from Pakistan. Ikra was one earlier where Indian officials sent her back to Pakistan. Should this be encouraged, a love story of such nature? Should they be cushioned at all?
Well, I don't think we should go into deliberating about the speculative aspect of the issue. We should really be talking about what are the known facts. The first known fact is that this lady came with a well laid out plan on a route which is normally followed by ISI agents or people like Dawood Ibrahim and his colleagues. So that is suspicion number one. Second, if the man she was in love with had met her in Nepal, why did he not inform the Indian agencies or Indian police? After all, as you said, they stayed in Nepal for about 7 days. Now, did he not know that there is something called consorting with a person from not so friendly country? And did he not know the consequences of illegal passage?
Maybe he knew the consequences, which is what restricted him. Of course, it's a security breach, but maybe the man was afraid that they would send Seema back to her country, just like what they did with Ikra.
Well, as I said, Nabila, earlier, that let's not get into speculation and reading their minds. That's for intelligence agencies or police to do.
Sure.
But we have to really go by what is the evidence on ground. And the evidence on ground is that the man was collaborating with her in her eventual illegal passage, because her crossing over from Nepal into India was not innocent passage for a Pakistani citizen. It is of course sad that she brought along 4 children also. But the law says that if she has illegally crossed into India, then she has to face the consequences, which means imprisonment. Because innocent passage, like the one you mentioned, we have a tradition of returning the person concerned as quickly as possible back to Pakistan. But this is no innocent passage.
Got it. Mr. Dogra, just a quick question on her being given bail. Sachin and her, both of them were arrested on charges of on Seema illegally entering India, and he being the accomplice here. But the court gave her bail.
Well, that is for court to make a judgment, and I don't think it'll be correct for me to make a judgment on court's judgment. But I do feel in matters such as this, especially when she's been in India for around 2 months, then I think caution should be the byword. The second and larger point which came to my mind when we were talking about it is that why is it that whenever there is a slight upturn possible in Indo-Pak relations, something like this happens. I mean, we were hoping that we'll have a trouble-free India-Pakistan match in Ahmedabad soon, and now this mismatch starts. So, besides stars, I think there is some human folly at work, and this is a perfect example of it.